Well, big news in Newport politics over the last week or so. Really, a major headline that's going to have reverberating consequences and really a chance to reflect on a legacy career and also get some perspective on where we go from here as a community. Jeanne-Marie Napolitano, you've been a counselor, you've been a mayor on a sub rosa level, you've been involved in a whole lot of stuff for a long time. You're retiring. Why now?
Um, for me, I think it's the right time. Things have been a bit rocky, but people will work it out. And I have really been committed for many, many years. And I will continue to work in the community. However, I just think it's the right move for me.
When you say things have been rocky, do you mean in terms of issues and that are happening on the ground, or is that what do you mean by rocky?
Um, some of the issues certainly are difficult, more difficult than they were in the past. And understanding um, both sides has become a little bit more, complicated, more complex, just like it's happening nationally. You hear people talking about, they believe in this and they don't believe in that. I mean, it's become so polarized, which is unfortunate because I really think over the years, and we'll come out of it, but I think over the years it has become very polarized, and hopefully we can all come back and start listening instead of doing all the talking.
Those are powerful words because at the municipal level, especially where there is a service factor that is so intimate, right?
Right.
You're describing something that I think a lot of people feel in national politics, and they feel it even in state politics, particularly if you live in a place that is more politically diverse than maybe Newport or Rhode Island. But at the municipal level, do you feel like that is seeping into a lane where you, as somebody who has been an arbiter at times, be it
Mhm.
as a mayor, be it on background, is it becoming more and more difficult? Am I hearing you say this? It's becoming more difficult to be an arbiter and bring ideas together, even at the municipal level, in a place like Newport where there are nonpartisan elections.
Mhm.
Everyone's independent. You're saying that is a challenge and it's something that concerns you and you don't necessarily want to be a part of anymore?
Yeah, you're pretty much on target with that. And of course, I hear a lot of the things that are going on nationally. Um, However, there always needs to be a discussion, and I'm finding that by and large, I feel that it's really lacking um, on the part of some of the council members or participants, uh, rather than pick up the phone. I'm more old school, more old school than you can believe. When I get a phone call or an email message, I respond. Uh, but I don't believe in, you know, after a meeting, that's fine. We can express our opinions and where we're coming from. However, prior to a meeting and trying to set up a different scenario, I think it's creating issues. It just is, and it's polarizing the council before we've even had a chance to discuss it. I know any time in the past when I've put in something, um, I make it a point to call council members and let them know. I tell Laura if I have a resolution, if they want to sign on or they need to talk to me, call me individually, um, because I really think that's the right thing to do.
It does seem, speaking from even here in Providence, where I'm broadcasting from right now, we see issues like the rent stabilization ordinance that was, on the one hand, there was ample room for a vibrant discussion on this issue of, broadly speaking, affordability and rent specifically, and how do we understand how to best regulate. But what ended up happening was you had two camps that would not budge. So, in fact,
Right.
nothing got done, and you didn't even really come away from it with much of a lane for how to move forward. And so you have problems like that. And then you look at Newport, where housing is an unbelievable challenge. Do you think the Newport Council can take on issues like housing, can take on issues like understanding the needs of and meeting the needs of people in real time in a way that is able to listen to the community from different perspectives? Are they capable of that?
Um, I would hope so, but as of yet, have they come together on it? Probably not. In certain things we have. We have long stated that we wanted some sort of um, uh, principle out there that there would be a reduction or a um, easement in taxes on year-round residents. And I noticed when I first came into office back in 1990, um, it was funny because I went to the Point neighborhood and I was first ward only. I wasn't at large. And so many empty houses. And then I started hearing about it, about people moving in. Now that's prior to Airbnb. And once we got hit with Airbnb, you know, and because our assessments are so high, that makes us a very attractive place to purchase a second homes. So we did tackle that one finally, and I was glad. And of course, you want to be fair about it. I realize people are buying second homes here. Unfortunately, a lot of this, or even the larger homes that used to be three apartments, are now a single family home part time.
Yeah,
So we made that differential in the taxes, and I was glad we did that. And that took years,
yeah.
years, literally.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's a model where incentivization for a year-round residency was the approach versus, so to speak, we hear a lot of talk about the millionaire's tax or things like the Taylor Swift tax,
Right,
more accurately. For, you can look at things from a different lane of how to get to the finish line. It requires conversation. It requires moderate behavior
right.
in politics. I'm worried that the council is when you look at issues like schools, what's your take on that? Do you feel that the city's in a good place right now as you retire?
Not really. We have schools coming up tonight on our docket. Um, I have always supported the schools and education, including including when they wanted to combine the 5 schools, the elementary schools, into one. And, my good friend, Jo Eva Gaines, was school committee chair, and let me tell you, we got into some rousing discussions. I said, "You gotta be kidding me. Are you kidding me?" People from here, there, or everywhere would say, "I don't want my kids up in that neighborhood." Um, we finally had a meeting of the minds, and she badgered me. And I love Joeva. She knew what she was talking about, and she explained to me, wait a minute, if we combine all these schools, all 5 schools, she said, it would cost us less money to build one school and have all of our teachers and paraprofessionals in that one school to do all the services we need rather than have these 5 schools. And guess what? She was right. She was absolutely right. The cost to rehab 5 schools, and they all needed it, um, was phenomenal. It was really off the charts. And what I'd like to say is, as far as Pell School goes, it was built according to the money that we took out or the money that we charged the taxpayers, um, on time, on schedule, and on budget. And that has happened both times
Yeah.
with Pell School. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case with other schools. Um, and I have been working. still and hoping the regionalization process could potentially take place because kids need every bit of quality education they can get. And council needs the money to be able to provide the schools with the teachers and the paraprofessionals they need.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one of the great questions, no doubt, that we will wait and see. But the school bonds and the general treasurer's office, in tandem with the work on the grassroots level and the council level, when you look at
Right.
When you look at the Pell School, yeah, there's a lot that went into that. It's a way of thinking about how to manage a community, quite frankly. What are you going to miss the most about being on the council?
Probably a lot, you know, probably being super involved. However, even when I lost the election, and I did lose an election back in 95 because I went at large, um, I continued to work on the things that I felt needed working on. And at that time, Bob Healy had a conversation with me about New Visions, which is now called EdCap. And basically, he wanted me to lead the organization. I was on the board for years. And he said, we really need to become bigger. There's more needs in Newport. And what we did is combine with East Providence, and we qualified for bigger grants so that we could take care of more people that perhaps found themselves without certain services, without food, without housing, without health care. Healthcare is so important to people these days. Even the ones that have it, I know some of them have actually said, "Gee, I've had this health insurance for so long, and now they won't cover this, that, or the other thing." It's a problem. It's a problem. So, I certainly think I'll continue to be interested and also interested in the schools and education. Um, and I have 5 grandchildren, 4 children, um, just a lot, and 7 brothers and sisters. So, a lot to take care of.
Right. You'll be busy, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Last question as you kind of look to the state of the intangible aspects of Newport. Right now, I feel like there's a lot of talk still of uh, you see Broadway has changed so much. You see, like you had mentioned, so many houses that used to have 3 or 4 families in them. Now there's maybe a
Right.
half a family in there, so to speak, or a quarter of a
Right.
family. So
Right.
but there's a magic to Newport that I think everyone who loves it, has lived there, visits there, knows exists, and that is still there. So what do you say to the community to just try to zero in on that feeling and kind of get back to some of the roots that we hear so many people talking about they miss?
Yeah. Actually, we had a total renovation of Broadway, and that took years. Um, my concern right now, uh, and they've got some great businesses on Broadway, but we seem to be somewhat inundated by people that are living on the street, and it has caused a problem. And when I checked into it, I was really surprised to find out that a good number of them are from Providence. And the reason they come down here, and believe me, I have talked to the individuals that work with them, is because they have a free bus pass. They get 3 square meals a day, depending on who's doing what. And many times they can get housing at night, but that doesn't solve our problem. It really doesn't. Um, and we do need to address it in a different way. I'm not sure how. Newport has so many different organizations that fill the voids, and they do fill the voids. Every single church, every single um, you know things that come to mind, beautification programs. in the city of Newport. All the people think that it just happens, but it doesn't. It happens because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of volunteers in the city of Newport making us what we are. And I think it's been a tremendous success in a lot of ways, but we still have some issues that we have to solve.
Jeanne-Marie Napolitano, retiring from official public life, no doubt will still be out there in a lot of capacities. Thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And could I just say first, well, I wanted to thank um, the people throughout the city for giving me the honor and the privilege of serving you for the last 31 years. I also want to thank the former mayors and councilors that I've served with. I've learned so much. So this is bittersweet, but I'm not gone.
It's a small island, so it's difficult to
It
hide.
is. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.